Section 11 of Recollections of a Busy Life by William B. Forwood. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 9. Knighthood and Freedom of Liverpool. Some 2 years after the conclusion of my mayoralty, in 1883, Mr. Gladstone, the Prime Minister, wrote to me stating that it would give him pleasure to submit my name to the Queen for the honour of a knighthood. I attended a special council at Windsor to receive the accolade. We were entertained at luncheon, and after waiting about in the corridors for some time, we were ushered one by one into the oak dining room. The gentleman who preceded me, being lame, could not kneel, and the Queen knighted him standing. When I entered the room there was no cushion to kneel upon. Her Majesty noticed it at once, and exclaimed, "Where is the cushion?" and ADCs flew in all directions in search of one. Meantime I was kept standing, feeling not a little nervous. The Queen apparently thought it was a good joke, and laughed, for it appeared from the time occupied in finding a cushion that cushions did not abound at Windsor. I received through Lord Claude Hamilton a very kind message of congratulation from the Prince of Wales, who had evidently been greatly impressed by his visit to Liverpool. Although the honour of knighthood was ostensibly bestowed in connection with the visit of the Prince and Princess of Wales and the opening of the new docks, I was semi-officially informed that it was really a recognition of my work in connection with the Fenian movement. Honorary Freedom of Liverpool. Much as I valued the honour of knighthood, I still more greatly esteemed the distinction conferred upon me by my fellow citizens when they bestowed upon me the freedom of the city, the greatest honour any man can receive. Other honours are conferred for political and other services, all more or less meritorious. But to be singled out by those among whom you have lived all your life, in order to receive the greatest distinction it is in their power to offer, is an honour worth living for, and particularly when its bestowal is so jealously safeguarded and kept so entirely free from political bias as it is in Liverpool. It then becomes doubly precious. It is easy in a great community to make enemies. Even the very success which may crown one's efforts to do good may produce them. A unanimous vote of a large city council is, therefore, not an easy thing to obtain, and is in itself a great compliment. I may perhaps be pardoned if I venture to insert a short account of the proceedings of the special council when the freedom was conferred, taken from the Liverpool Post and Mercury. Quote, "In the presence of a large and distinguished assembly of ladies and gentlemen, the freedom of the city of Liverpool was yesterday afternoon presented, in the council chamber at the Town Hall, to Sir William Forwood, the father of the City Council. Sir William was first elected to the council as a representative of Pitt Street Ward in November 1868, and 9 years later, in 1877, he was promoted to the aldermanic bench, of which he is still a member. He was mayor of the city in 1880-81. He is also a member of the city bench, of the county bench for Lancashire and Cheshire, chairman of the Liverpool County Quarter Sessions, and a deputy lieutenant for Lancashire. The Lord Mayor, Alderman Charles Petrie, presided, and, preceded by the city regalia, he was accompanied into the council chamber by Sir Thomas Hughes, Mr. John Brancker, and Mr. B. Levy, freemen of the city, Mr. R. A. Hampson, Mr. R. D. Holt, and Mr. T. Burke, the mover, seconder, and supporter of the resolution of the City Council in favour of conferring the freedom on Sir William Forwood, Sir William Tate, Sir John A. Willox, M.P., Mr. A. Crosthwaite, ex-Lord Mayor, Mr. John Williamson, and many other prominent citizens. There was also a very large attendance of members of the City Council. Alderman W. B. Bowring sent a telegram regretting his inability to be present through indisposition. The Lord Mayor, in opening the interesting proceedings, said, "I have much pleasure in asking the Recorder, Mr. Hopwood, kindly to read the resolution of the Council conferring the honorary freedom of the city upon Sir William Bower Forwood." The Recorder: My Lord Mayor, I read the minute of the Corporation. At a meeting of the Council of the City of Liverpool, holden on Wednesday, the 4th day of June, 1902, under the Honorary Freedom of Boroughs Act, 1885, present the Right Honourable Charles Petrie, Lord Mayor, and a full Council, it was moved by Councillor Hampson, seconded by Councillor R. D. Holt, supported by Councillor Burke, and resolved unanimously that in pursuance of Statute 48 and 49 of Victoria, Chapter 29, entitled An Act to enable municipal corporations to confer the honorary freedom of boroughs upon persons of distinction, the honorary freedom of the city be conferred upon Alderman Sir William Bower Forwood, in recognition of the eminent services he has rendered to the municipality throughout his membership of the council, extending over a period of 33 years, during the course of which he has filled the office of Chief Magistrate and other public positions with credit to himself and benefit to the community, and especially for the deep interest he has taken in the establishment of libraries and reading rooms in the city. The Lord Mayor: Sir William Forwood, ladies and gentlemen, it is not often we meet in this chamber as a council under such happy auspices as we are met to-day. We are gathered here with one accord, to do honour to one of our number whom we are pleased to term the Father of the Council, Sir William Forwood. Not that he is by any means the oldest man amongst us, but he happens to have been in the Council longer than any other member. It is now nearly 34 years since Sir William was first returned as member for Pitt Street Ward, on the 2nd of November, 1868. And ever since then he has held a seat in the City Council, and, as you all know, he has served upon nearly all the important committees of the Council, for instance, the Finance, Estate, Watch, Water, Library, Museum and Arts, and Parliamentary Committees. As chairman of the Parliamentary Committee he rendered very valuable services in the opposition to the Manchester Ship Canal, and also with regard to railway rates. But for many years past Sir William has unstintingly devoted his time and his great ability to the Library, Museum and Arts Committee, and I am sure the city is very greatly indebted to him for the valuable work that committee has done. The Lord Mayor proceeded to enlarge upon Sir William's services to the city, and in conclusion said, I now have great pleasure, Sir William, as Chief Magistrate of the city, in asking you, on behalf of the citizens, to accept this illuminated resolution of the Council, and also this casket, and I am sure I am only echoing the sentiment of everyone here today, and not only those here, but those outside, when I say that we wish you long life, health, and happiness to continue in the honour which you hold. I will now ask you to sign the roll of honorary freemen. The scroll on which is inscribed the freedom of the city is designed and illuminated by James Orr Marples, Mr. Rutherford, Liverpool and London Chambers, Exchange. The vellum is bound and backed with royal blue silk and attached to an ivory roller. At the top of the composition is the liver crest and tridents between the arms and supporters of the city, and a view of the town hall. Below, on the left side, beautifully emblazoned, are the armorial bearings of Sir William B. Forwood, with the crest and knight's helmet, the steel visor raised. On a scroll beneath the shield is the motto Fide Virtute et Labore. The civic regalia and the port of Liverpool occupy the bottom of the design. Pendant by a broad blue ribbon from the scroll is the official seal of the city of Liverpool. The scroll was enclosed in a handsome silver gilt box, decorated with panel pictures of the town hall, free libraries, and museum, in enamels. Sir William Forwood, having signed the roll, said: "My Lord Mayor, Aldermen, Councillors, and Ladies and Gentlemen, believe me, it is most difficult, indeed it is well nigh impossible, to find words adequately to convey to you all the gratitude which fills my heart, to tell you how deeply I appreciate and value the very great honor and distinction you have so very generously and graciously conferred upon me, or to thank you, my Lord Mayor, for the very eloquent, kind, but sadly too flattering terms in which you have made this presentation. The honorary freedom of the city of Liverpool, guarded by this council with so much jealousy, and bestowed with such a frugal hand, is the greatest honor which this city can confer. It is a unique order of merit. It is not conferred by the favor of a monarch or minister, but by the spontaneous and unanimous voice of a great representative assembly, and as such is not surpassed by any similar order in this country. It is justly esteemed and valued by distinguished statesmen and philanthropists, and not less by successful soldiers who in the hour of their country's great anxiety have turned defeat into victory. How much more, then, must I prize it, the freedom of my native city, as one born in Liverpool, and who has spent his life in your midst, and whose only claim to this great honor is that he has endeavored to be of some use to his fellow citizens. How imperfect this service has been, how much more I might have done, no one is more conscious of than I am, but you in your great kindness and generosity have been good enough to overlook my shortcomings, and are content to recognize only my long services, and my desire at all times, to the best of my ability, to promote the welfare of this important community. I thank you most sincerely and with all my heart. My children and my children's children will, I am sure, look upon this beautiful casket and the record which it contains with feelings of pride and gratification. It is an added charm to the presentation which you have made to me that I am permitted to associate with it the memory of my late brother, who gave to this city the best of his life, the best of his thought and work, and died in their service. His memory will be long cherished by all those who witnessed his public spirit, his long and his unselfish devotion to the interests of the people of Liverpool. I remember well the first time I entered this town hall. As a boy I had spent my summer holidays at the Edge Lane entrance to the Botanic Gardens, obtaining signatures to a petition to the town council asking them to purchase the land adjoining the Botanic Gardens for a park. I obtained 62,000 signatures. I brought the petition down in a cab. I remember it was too bulky to carry, and it had to be rolled through the vestibule to the town clerk's office, which was then in this building. That petition was successful, and the Wavertree Park was the first of those beautiful parks which now girdle the city. My next appearance within these walls was as the proud representative for Pitt Street Ward. It serves to mark the flight of time, when I call to mind that of the members of the council when I entered it in 1868, Only 3 now survive: Mr. Samuel Gregg Rathbone, Mr. Philip Holt, and myself. Mr. Rathbone is already a freeman, and our roll of freemen would be greatly enriched if we could add the name of Liverpool's anonymous and great benefactor. Of the members who have since entered this council, many have fallen by the wayside, many have retired into private life, some have gone forward to the Commons House of Parliament to bear their part in the government of the country, but a goodly number have, I am glad to say, remained faithful to the municipal government of the city, recognizing that they can undertake no more noble or useful work. Municipal work is many-sided, it is full of interests, it is very attractive and even fascinating, and it brings with it its own reward in the satisfaction of feeling that you are doing good. It may lack the glamour and prestige of the Imperial Parliament, but it has this great advantage: the City Council affords greater opportunities of initiating and carrying into effect measures for the benefit of the people among whom we live, and we have the added advantage of seeing the growth and fruition of our work. Who can compare the Liverpool of today with the Liverpool of 30 years ago without feeling thankful for what has been done, and proud that he has been privileged to take part in the doing of it? It seems only the other day we were wrestling with such an insanitary condition of things that the unhealthiness of Liverpool was a byword, and the prevalence of drunkenness and crime caused this city to be alluded to as the black spot on the Mersey. Great social and sanitary problems had to be solved, which for years defied all attempts at their solution. It was only when broader and more enlightened views of municipal responsibility and duty came to the front, supported by a healthy and more vigorous public opinion outside, that these problems were grappled with such intelligence and determination that the Liverpool of today can challenge comparison with any city in the world, not only in the excellence and efficiency of its municipal government and administration, but in its enlightened policy in dealing with insanitary property, housing the poor, the treatment of infectious disease, and last but not least, in the suppression and prevention of drunkenness and crime. You have, my Lord Mayor, alluded to the work done by the Library, Museum and Arts Committee, over which it is my privilege to preside. This may not bulk very largely in the public eye, but nevertheless it is very real, and is doing much for the intellectual and moral welfare of the people, and helping to make their lives brighter and happier. When we get those additional funds which I hope the generosity of the Council will give to us at no distant date, our work must progress by leaps and bounds. While the freedom of Liverpool which you have so very generously presented to me is the symbol of the highest honor conferred by a great city, whose ships cover the seas, and whose commerce fills every corner of the globe, it is more than all this. It is the kind expression of goodwill and approval of friends with whom it has been my high privilege to work for so many years, an expression which I greatly value and appreciate, and for which I return you once again my most sincere and heartfelt thanks." End of section 11.